We all know the classic saying, there's no such thing as a free lunch. But at the same time, we also all know about Wendy's 4 for 4. And that kind of thinking can be transferred into a lot of stuff. And maybe you're at IKEA and you only plan on buying one bed, but they get that buy one, get one free deal going on. And now you have 2 beds. What are you gonna do with 2 beds? Can't sleep twice, but you didn't have to pay for it. Video games can be quite expensive sometimes. If you're gonna pay 60 or 70 bucks now for the hottest new game on the hottest new console, and there's a new game or two every month that you want to buy, that can really add up. But sometimes, for the frugal gamer in our midst, the clouds will part and the stars will align, and a game will come down from the heavens. That's the perfect deal. 2 games in one. Or sometimes more than 2 games in one. And I don't mean carefully crafted collections of games with a theme surrounding them, or with beautiful menus and a celebration of a history of a franchise or company. I mean, I'm talking Shrek 2 and Shark Tale for the Xbox. 2 games that, more often than not, don't really have a great tie together, that are just slapped onto one cartridge or disc and sent out there to get some more sales. These can be really any games. The most famous example of 2 games in one, or a multi-pack, goes back to the NES. One cartridge that would let you know that games were about to change forever.
What's it like to play the Nintendo Entertainment System? Nintendo Entertainment System. Now you're playing with power.
And that's Super Mario Bros. And Duck Hunt. This game was a pack-in with most sets of the NES. And this is, more often than not, the way people owned Mario Bros. At the time. There was also another one of these made that added a 3rd game, which was Track and Field, which of course increased the deal. These packs helped more people experience the original Mario Bros. And gave Duck Hunt the status as a classic NES game that it has today. Over on the SNES, games got bigger and there wasn't a lot of extra space on the cartridge. And so Nintendo chose to create a multi-pack of 2 classic NES puzzle games. These games were Tetris and Dr. Mario. These 2 games got a complete visual makeover, which seems like a lot of work to just put them both in one cartridge. They really could have added some more content and sold each on their own as an upgraded version, like Super Tetris or Super Dr. Mario. But with it being 2 games in one, it gives people that feeling of gaming the system so they can game harder. And that's what helps a lot of these multi-packs sell. I mean, I really wasn't planning on buying Scooby-Doo 1 and Scooby-Doo 2 for the Game Boy Advance, but it's just such a great deal. Come on! Also on the GBA, Nintendo released Dr. Mario and Puzzle League as a 2 games in one package. This makes some sense, seeing as the GBA is just kind of a portable SNES, and Tetris Attack, which became Puzzle League, really deserves to be playable anywhere and everywhere. The GameCube also has their fair share of these multi-packs, like the SpongeBob movie and Tak 2. Both are Nickelodeon games, and who's gonna pass up a deal like this? Over on PC, there are certain kinds of multi-packs that aren't really multi-packs. Stuff like Lego Island 1 and 2, where it's just 2 discs but in one new package. Or the SpongeBob SquarePants Quad Pack, with the SpongeBob movie game, SpongeBob Employee of the Month, SpongeBob Operation Krabby Patty, and SpongeBob Battle for Bikini Bottom. A great deal, even though you'd have to swap discs if you wanted to play a different game. Then there are also games that don't really count as multi-packs, but they have a second game in them. Stuff like Super Mario Bros. Deluxe for the Game Boy Color, where you can unlock the Japanese version of Mario Bros. 2, or New Super Mario Bros. U when it came with New Super Luigi U, which was technically a DLC, but it was also released as its own standalone game, so it technically counts. Or Ocarina of Time and the Master Quest for the GameCube. It's kind of the same thing that New Super Mario Bros. U had. There are a lot of other multi-pack games, but none of them are super notable. But there is one kind of multi-pack game that lives at the bottom of eBay listings, and that's the bootleg multi-packs. Games that advertise themselves as 128 in 1, or 64 in 1, or 52 in 1. Games that don't run the best, but they sure are cheap, and you'll get a lot of time out of them. These bootleg carts are often shady as all get out, and the menus are more often than not just pretty bad. Most multi-pack games really don't have a lot of work put into them. They're just kind of here's 2 or 3 games just smacked together and released on a newer console, or here's just a deal. There are some games that I think would fit perfectly into a multi-pack form, and I think it'd be kind of interesting if they were released. What if they re-released all 3 of the Burger King games on one disc? Wouldn't that be interesting? I'd like to see them again. You don't have to change them at all, they already look perfect. So just keep them the way they are and stick them all on one disc with a pretty basic menu and just chuck it out into the world. On the Wii U, it would have been interesting to see a multi-pack of New Super Mario Bros. Wii, New Super Mario Bros. U, and New Super Luigi U. But why do that when you can sell all 3 games separately and make more money? Multi-pack games are more often than not pretty lazy, but they can still help people get new experiences without having to pay more money. They're not really cool, they're not really fascinating, they're just kind of passively interesting. Now it's time for me to blast off into space, baby. Goodbye.